This is a call to action. And without a call to action, inactive, we remain the same as we have been for many, many years. If we keep doing the same things that we have done in the past, we keep getting the same results. This is another 100 years of oppression, another 100 years of racism, another 100 years of discrimination, and another 100 years of life loss. It's unnecessary. things that have been done to our people. It is so unnecessary. And because of that, we have to do something. Transitioning the call to action from a submission-based model, empowering Black men to reclaim the narrative and reset the focus and the agenda of how our people are being dealt with. We cannot be dealt with a particular way because we have not brought ourselves to the point where we are a real people. We keep calling ourselves Black. We keep calling ourselves African American. And technically, let's put two things. All right, Chinese and Black. Where do you put those two things? They don't go together. The Chinese is a nationality. Black is not a nationality. If you're Chinese, that's who you are. If you're Korean, that's who you are. If you're Venezuelan, that's who you are. You have your country to depict who you are. The names that have been given to us is not who we are. And if we don't ever start to recognize that, it's our problem, not nobody else's. It ain't the white man's problem. It's our problem. Transitioning the call to action from a submission-based model empowers Black men to reclaim the narrative. And how do you reclaim the narrative? You got to have some kind of plan. You got to turn the trajectories around. The platform requires first that you identify the root of the problem. And the root of the problem is, why are we being ignored to the point where our history has to be erased for yours to succeed? That's what it boils down to. In order for your history to be where you want it to be, a white, lily white, pure country, you have to erase ours and make our history go away and be connected to another country. But when we asked you for all of this, you didn't want it to happen because you know, and I know, that you can't survive without us. We can survive without you, and we've done it multiple times, hundreds of times. And every single time we've set it up to do it our way, here you come claiming that we touched a white woman, or we bumped into a white man on the sidewalk, or didn't step out, some dumb doo-doo that don't even make no sense. It's the way it is, and it's the way it's always been. And now it is time for us to change this model that it has entrapped our country into a stagnant way of life, and we ain't going nowhere fast. We're not going anywhere fast because we don't want to change. And I think that's the biggest problem that we suffer with right now. We don't want to change, but we want to move forward. We want us to be invisible. As long as the Black person is invisible, then we get somewhere. Now, if you want to call and have something to say online to me, the number that you can call is 726. You got it? 726. The number disappeared. Hold on. We got to turn this trajectory around, my friends. Once we turn it around, I think we'll be on our way. To turn the trajectory around, we got to figure out why people are doing what they're doing to us. If we don't know why, then how are you going to solve a problem that you don't know the why? Every problem starts with the why. Why are they doing us this way? They're doing us this way for a very simple reason. And it's about possession of the land. when a person, a Caucasian person, will say something like, "Yeah, let me give you this number before I go down that rabbit hole: 726-206-5328." And then we can have a conversation, and I would definitely put you on speaker so everybody can hear what you got to say and see what you really believe. Somebody just said, I blame somebody. Let's see. You blame everyone but yourself for your failings. Get an education and get a job. You are professional, whatever that means. Either way you look at it, it's okay for you to have that opinion of me, because your opinion means nothing to me. Only thing it tells me is that you have not taken the time to understand who I am and what I'm trying to tell you or get you to understand. And maybe you will one day, and maybe you won't. Some people never understand a professional victim. I don't claim myself as a victim. I could claim myself as a success story, despite all the trouble I've had to dealing with you guys, the people that think like you. You don't have to be a victim, and we're not victims. That's the problem. We are not victims. We are success stories all the way around. Not only me, but my people are a success story. Look how many years it has taken you to gain control of a country like this country. This happens almost instantaneously with us, with my kind of people. And by you not recognizing that, you're in denial. And by you being in denial, you can only lash out with what you're saying about how we operate or how I operate. You can only throw personal insults and try and use that as your leverage. That doesn't work, not on this level. If you don't know, I am a doctor, and I am an educated man. And I do know how to deal with people like you, because I've done it all my life and still made it. So what are you complaining about? It's not complaining, my friend. It's woke. See, DT told you don't use woke because that's a sin. That's a sin orchestrated by the government. So that's what you're doing. We are woke, and my objective is to wake up the people. The root why: developing healthy responses to racism and unidentifying. Are you not? What am I saying? We got to respond to racism, and we got to unify personal strength for collective actions, and that's the objective. Thank you for the fist. I like that. Must be something in the wording that I'm saying here that makes you understand. You know, one of the biggest things we have to do is create this collective action of brothers. That's who I'm shooting for right now. Brothers coming together and just discussing what the why is, and then organizing from that point to create solutions to why we have to deal with your anger and your dissent and your deception and your lies and your corruption. And we have to deal with all that. We come into a job to go to work, get our check, go home. But by the end of the week, we got problems because you don't want to pay me for the hours I work. You don't want to give me my sick time. You don't want to give me my raises. And that's not only in local employment, that's in the federal government as well. I'll give you a story. I started back when I first made sergeant in the military. I had to go back and find it because they had hid it from me. So I went all the way to my personnel branch and asked for my file, and I saw my promotion orders in the file. And because they were in there, I just had them give me a copy, and I took it back to my organization, and they had no other choice but to make the promotion, and they did. So when I do that, you have to understand that it takes a certain level of intellectual ability to pull something like that off at 22 years old. That was a long time ago, but that was one of my first indications that my success intimidates other people. And that's a problem. When your success intimidates other people. The success of Greenwood in Tulsa, Oklahoma intimidated other people. The success of Lake Lanier intimidated other people. You can't come up with one incident where we as Black people or African Americans or Moors took your situation and made it worse. We have never done that because that's not in our hearts and that's not what we do. What's in your heart, though, is to take what we have and make it worse or keep it worse. And the only way you can keep it worse is by shutting us out because we got access to everything you got. So you keep creating these barriers to stop us from progressing in the areas that we intend to. And then you know what we do? We go somewhere else and do it another way, but we still become successful. We still keep where we're going en route. We're going there. You can't stop us. And it ain't a victimized strategy. It ain't being a victim. It ain't about being a victim. It's about doing what's right. And so what I've been thinking about is what's right and what's wrong. And I had a list that I wanted to reveal to you of some of those things. And I don't know where it is right now, so I'll let it go. But I will tell you that there is strength in collective action. And if we can collect our actions and start working together, then we can get where we want to go. One, when we identify the why, we're defining the purpose, we're understanding the specific reasons driving you to seek change with a clear goal. We identify exactly what you want. We identify exactly what you want to improve or to change your future generations. Do you want your future generations to stay in the same condition you're in? Develop a response to racist adults by using various effective tools to deal with race-related stress. Do you know how to use different tools to deal with race-related stress, such as religion, community, the support system that we have, problems, focused actions, avoiding deflection? We got to rise together through our community, building connections with local organizations to amplify our Black voices. And I think that is the reason we are not moving forward as fast as we need to. We're not unifying our Black voices. I'm out here as a solo blogger, a solo podcaster, telling people what I think need to be heard. You got 1,000 other ones out here doing the exact same thing, but none of us are collaborating to form a united front. And that's where we're lacking. Now, we do have a lot of money floating around in our culture. 11 trillion was the last number I had. It's probably 13 to 15 trillion now. All this money we spend every single year to impress others. We do it to impress others. They have stifled us in so many different areas. One area that I'd like to mention, among others, is the medical field. They saturate us with medication. You can go to the doctor and just about get any type of medication you want. Once you get that medication, you'll have to get another medication to counter that medication. And once you get a medication to counter that medication, you got to get one more to make all of them work together. For instance, vitamin D3, Delta 3, is supposed to build your joints and bones and stuff like that. But that medication don't really absorbs into your bones without the use of is it K2? I think it's K2, another medication that you need in order for it to work. So, how you doing, Me Too? Thank you for joining. If you're using all these medications to prevent something, you're basically not correcting it. You're just dulling it. You're hiding it from your own mentality. How you doing? Greetings to you too. You're hiding, you're covering up or camouflaging what's really going on in your body using all these medications that the doctor provides for you. Now, I take medication too, but I'm very, very in tune with why I take them and what I take. And I would expect or ask you to do the same thing, because it's important that you know exactly that what medication the doctor prescribed you. And there are two standards. For instance, if you go to the doctor to get a blood test, and you get that blood test and it comes out, I don't know the numbers. I'm just going to use the number 10. 10 being you're absolute perfect with your blood test, and a 3 being you're not perfect. But when it comes to black and white, you might come through there with a 10 as being perfect and a 5 being not so perfect. But as a black person, the doctor looks at yours as a 5. But if it was the exact same reading coming from a white person, then the reading would be a 3. In other words, they would take it more seriously. They would look at it like there's a bigger problem here. But it's the exact same problem in the black person and in the white person. But the doctors take that particular problem more seriously if it is affiliated with a white person. If it's affiliated with a black person, don't let them downplay your illness if you have an illness, or if you think you have an illness. You know your body better than anybody. So when it comes to medication, and it comes to going to the doctor, and it comes to using Medicare, you might be signed up on a particular program. I don't know any program other than Humana or some other ones. If you're part of those programs and you are in the process of getting this surgery or getting a particular treatment done, and you get halfway between that treatment and then they tell you that Medicare doesn't cover you anymore, or Medicaid doesn't cover you anymore, then what's happening here is them denying you health care. So what you have to do as an individual is not go to that particular, not the doctor office. That ain't the problem. The problem is your health care. For instance, let's say out of Obamacare or whatever else, there are thousands of providers out there that provide coverage for different things. Now, if you're going to the doctor for a particular thing, and this is your thing, and this is what's dealing with you, you don't allow that one company to not allow you to get the service that you need to correct your body. You have to go to another provider. And if they don't have it, go to the next provider. But you are responsible for finding that provider. And that is one of the things that the Obamacare website does. It helps you to find a provider that will give you the services that you're seeking. So don't be discouraged when you go to a particular doctor office and the doctor office says, well, your Medicaid doesn't cover this, or your deductible is beyond the sky. Don't accept that. Go ahead and find you another carrier that will give you that particular service that you're looking for. For instance, when you sign up for healthcare, they say you want transportation, you want gym membership, you want this, you want that, you want point A, point B. You have to decide what you want. Stop allowing other people to make these decisions for you and give you what you don't really need. Some people get transportation and never use it. Some people get that $50 card a month. I'm one of them. and hardly ever use it. Some people get the food card and hardly ever use it. So my point is, ensure that your healthcare system gives you exactly what you want and not just another healthcare system that takes your money and don't provide you the services that you're looking for. So that's one of the big deals for me is healthcare. The other one is education. But before I go to education, I want to tell you again, this is the People's Information and News Network. We broadcast every Sunday at 5 p.m. I have a couple of people that are associated with the production of this show, and I ask that you give them as much respect as you would give me. And especially that one guy that likes to come in with those weird comments. I want to welcome you to our show. We are Our People, News and Wealth for Cultural Power. I want you to like, subscribe, and join in the conversation if you choose to. And you can always call me at the number that's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. I would love to be able to talk to you and give you different comments about what's happening out here in this world. The number is 726-206-5328. Now, that's just something we're dealing with on a regular basis. Education is difficult. Right now, you don't have the backing, the grants, the lower scores that you can use to go to college. But if you don't remember, in 2017, DT was president, and he said you don't have to have a government job to get a you don't have to have a degree to get a government job. And he meant that. Basically, he meant that he's going to get rid of black people, and then he's going to bring in the people from the hollers, the plantations that own the land and own everything else, but no education at all. He can bring in who he wants to. It's difficult for you to get your high school diploma, but when you get it, what's the point of you going to school for 12 years if you're dumb as a rock when you graduate? You went to school 12 years and you can't even form a complete sentence. You can't use large words in sentences. It's difficult when you have to go out into the world and apply for jobs. And then when you go looking for a job, you're going in there being not who you really are. You're being who you think they want you to be. You have to realize that if you don't know what they are looking for, and you just going in there blindly looking for a job, then 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get it. So if you want to get a job like that, you got to study the company and know what they are talking about and know something about the company when you go in the interview. It's your responsibility. Most large colleges like UCLA, University of California, University of Texas, these big colleges, they're Texas A&M, they recruit in our communities and they grasp our talented people and take them away from our communities and put them in their universities to make their universities look good. But they don't allow those individuals to go back home sometimes. And it sounds weird when I say they don't allow, but they don't. They give them contracts and money to disconnect from the people that they know from their homes. That's not how it works, but that's what's happening. I would ask, now this is an ask, any mother, any father with children about to go to college, have them go to an HBCU. Let's bring back Black education and Black educated people back to our own sources. Now, granted, I know that most of the HBCUs were funded by white money. I know that, but they are Black universities, and they are more cultural driven than anything else. It learns you about you. When you go to a university that they have very few of you available, then you miss out on things. You miss out on life. You miss out on lifelong friendships. You miss out on quite a few things that you can prevent by going to an HBCU. And it's not to go there and join a fraternity, not because you want to be an alpha or a Q or omega, whatever. You don't want to be all that. You go in there for your education. If you stay focused, you can do that. But if you get sidetracked really easy, then the partying will take you out, because you're not strong when it comes to this right here. This is what you need. This is what you gotta have when you go to any university, for that matter, not just HBCUs. They've shut us out the economy. How many months or how many weeks or how many years have you gone through your paycheck before you even got it? And you broke again. It's almost like you worked that whole week to get paid, and you got paid, and then you broke the next day. That is so hard to live like that. It's difficult to live like that. Then you start looking through your house. Well, what can I pawn to get me this extra money so I can feed my kids? What can I sell to my neighbor to get this money so I can feed my kids? But yet the next morning at 8 o'clock, you at work till 5 or till whatever, you at work. You're doing your job. You're earning your family's money. But this is the problem with this. No company, if there are companies that will, there are not very many that will pay you what you're worth, that will pay you a living wage, that will pay you enough to support your family. You know, you should go to work. You should have a job. But if you are not getting paid enough to support your family, that means you're going to be working not only that job, you're going to be working another job. Let's say you're working 2 jobs now. Now you got an issue, because 2 jobs requires at least 6 to 8 hours unless you're working part-time. That's more hours you're away from home, and that's more hours your children are raising themselves. That's where we have problems. That's why we have a generation right now who can't get out in society and function without these telephones, without these iPads, without these PlayStations, without these other pieces of equipment that they use every single day once they get home from school. But when it comes to me or you interacting with each other, have no clue on how to do that. The biggest thing that these kids learn about in school, in high school, is going to the proms, going to the ball games, and not focusing on what they really are there for. What is that teaching you? That's teaching you to sit down for 8 hours, to be focused for 8 hours on something that you don't give a daggum care about. And why would you care about that job? That's just a job. That job is there for you to support your family. And if it requires you to get a second job to support your family, then maybe that first job is not where you're supposed to be. Now, see, that's something that bothers me a lot, because I do think we can survive on $10 an hour if we needed to, because we do it anyway. And how do you do that? You do it by not being the biggest consumer you can be. What's really killing our people, what's really unaliving our people, is not the white man. It's not the medicine. It's the food. The food is the reason you need the medicine. Because if you're eating steaks every week, you're eating hamburger meat every week, you have no clue what you're eating. And because you're eating this stuff, it puts you in a position to ruin your body. That food that you eat, and you eat till it's all gone. Excuse me, the worst one is a buffet. Who goes into a buffet with every single thing you can think of on the menu and try to eat every single thing that you can think of on the menu? We do that now. We go to buffets and we try to eat everything. You can't do that because all you're doing is blowing your stomach up, 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 up. And then before you know it, you're over 200. Before you know it, you're over 300. And now you go to the doctor looking at them with sad eyes, expecting the doctor to bring you back, to give you the right medication, to give you that shot so you can lose weight and let you grow, let you go back to normal. But you're not changing your habits. You keep doing the same thing. You keep getting the same results. You're eating that fried chicken every day. You're eating them steaks every day. You're eating fried this and fried that, and you're just as happy as a pig in slop. Because that's all you're eating is slop right now. You know, back 75 years ago, people didn't have to worry about the food that they eat because they knew exactly what the animals ate prior to them being eaten. In other words, you knew what your hogs ate. You knew what your chickens ate. You knew what your fish ate because you were getting them out of the streams and out of the ponds. But nowadays, it's almost impossible to get clean food. There's no such thing as clean food. None. I don't know how we're going to change the way we eat, but if an individual walking around carrying about 70 pounds of fat and don't realize it, I think that individual needs some counseling. You need some counseling. I think all Black people over 21 need counseling because we have to be counseled on how to deal with these folks because they're not going to let up on us and let us have our way at life. We can't live without having to deal with them on one level or another. And the only way we can do that is through our own education and through our own rebranding or rebirthing of what we do in life. You know, the way we go through life every day, we're not thinking about what it should be. We're thinking about what we want it to be. In other words, when you go buy a new suit, you can buy a new suit for $100, or you can go buy a new suit for $1,000. But at the same time, that new suit is going to wear on you the exact same way as that $1,000 suit would. So why would you go spend $900, $1,000 on a pair on a suit? Doesn't make sense. And I'm just talking clothes right now, but then you can go to food. Why would I go? I'm making $10, $12 an hour. Why would I go to a Papados and try and have me a meal and take somebody over there with me to eat with me, and I'm gonna pay for theirs too? Or why would I go to a bar and spend $100 on drinks? Why would I do that? It don't make sense, does it? So it does not make sense for us to be complaining about not making money because we make the money. We have the money in our communities that makes us viable to the success of this country. And we can do this with them or without them. It doesn't matter to us. It matters to them because they want to do it without us, but they can't. But we can do it either way. Just like you can't create white without black, but you can create black without white. It's a big difference. How you doing, McWarthen? Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Appreciate your coming in and expressing your opinion if you want to. All right, so we talked about the medication that we've taken, that we take every day, and that's killing us. That's unaliving us. I'm sorry, I'm on another platform, so I have to use certain words. We talked about education, which we are educated, but we're not applying that education to a betterment of our communities. The economy, we're not going to make the money in their companies. Why would you expect them to pay you enough to survive? They're not. What, they don't want to pay you that much. They don't want to pay you no more than they have to, because every dollar that they pay you, that's a dollar that they lose. And nobody wants to lose a dollar. Nobody. But the food we eat is our problem. And if we could control how to eat, we can change the narrative here. We can stop dying early. Why do you think they contaminate the food like this? Why do you think we get substandard groceries, substandard fruits and vegetables? You know, we get that because the life expectancy of Americans is what, 71 years? They don't expect us to live long. And in order to keep it at that level, they have to do something with the food. You know, they got things now that they call meat chickens. Not egg chickens or anything. They grow chickens for meat. And they grow them in 6 months or 6 weeks, I think it's 6 weeks. They grow these chickens in 6 weeks, and they use quite a few chemicals to grow these meat chickens. So if you can have the resources to grow your own chickens, grow some daggum chickens. You know, that's something that I've been adventuring in lately, looking at how to grow chickens. What we eat kills us. How much we eat kills us or unalives us. So when you're eating, you go to places like Chris Madrid's hamburgers. You don't have to eat that gigantic hamburger and that big bucket of fries. You know, I love Chris Madrid's, but I don't eat that whole hamburger. It's too big. I don't eat all those fries. It's too many. You know, even though they're giving it to you, that don't mean you have to eat it. You can leave stuff on the plate. You can take half your meal home and eat it later. You don't have to eat it all right then. When you're at the dinner table, you don't have to do that, especially if you like eating out a lot. You don't have to finish your meals. You have no idea how much salt is in that food. You have no idea how much sugar is in that food. So in order for you to know what you're eating, you should be cooking your own food. Breaking or boiling or air frying or something in that category might be where we should be. You know, they tell you all the time what's really bad for you is fried food. So if you want fried chicken, why not do shake and bake and put it in the oven? That's been around for years. But if you're dripping your chicken in that vegetable oil, you're unaliving yourself. That's what you're doing. You need to do better, because that's not helping you with your food. Don't eat until you're full. Get you a few bites, eat, and set your goal before you even start. So I'm only going to eat half of this meal. I'm only going to eat a quarter or a third of this meal. But don't eat the whole meal just because it's been presented to you. People fill that plate with rice, and then they put whatever else goes, the meat that goes with it on top of the rice. And now you got enough rice for 3 people. You don't have to eat it all right then. And I highly recommend to you that you get control or you learn how to eat. That way you don't kill yourself. With the lies about the lies they told, they still tell us. With the labels, lazy, dumb, inadequate for Black people, African American, still a lie. The fake inheritance that we still believe in, going to church every Sunday, worshiping a God that allowed us to be slaves. You know, I believe that there's a supreme being. There's a higher power than me. But for no way, shape on this planet I will allow my persecutors to dictate or outline or lay a foundation for me to follow in faith. That is my issue. I cannot allow my oppressor to teach me how to be a servant, because that is exactly what my oppressor has me for, as a servant. You know, for as many of my ancestors, James, Anthony, that were unalived brutally, and that's being decapitated, being pitchforked, being boiled, being dismembered, being burned, being hanged, all these different things that happened, big dog, to our ancestors. How can I allow my oppressor to teach me how to go to heaven? You know, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody knows anything about it other than what my oppressor has placed in front of me. Do you have anything else to show that what you're telling me is correct other than the Bible? And the Bible written by King James is the one that most people look at. Who is King James? How do I know who he's in my corner? How do I know he's writing this Bible with truth instead of lies? I don't question none of that. I just believe that there is a supreme being and there is a power higher than me, but it will not be defined by my oppressor. That's something an individual has to decide. And if you can't figure that out, then I'm sorry for you. You got to be just where they say labeled, lazy, dumb, and inadequate. You got to be on that level. Fake inheritance. You know, we sit back and we wait till our parents die, and we want what they had, like the houses, the cars, but you don't want to do the work to get these things. There's work involved. Your name needs to be on that deed. You need to have your properties in a trust where there is no question that these properties that you may own will be going to your descendant. Because if you don't take the time to get it right while you're alive, then they can easily take your property. Because a lot of times people ain't got $2,000 to pay a probate judge to award you the property. And right now, there are thousands of people like us sitting in limbo on properties that they cannot utilize because it's in probate court. It was intended for them. It's in the will, but the will don't satisfy the court. It's satisfied that you are the right inheritant person, but that don't mean you get it, because in order for you to get it and complete it, you have to file certain documents with the courts so they can change the paperwork. But if you change it while they are alive, you don't have this problem. Or you put it in a trust, they don't have this problem. We like looking rich all the time. In order to look rich, you should probably be rich. I mean, money should not change how you represent yourself. You don't have to have 36-inch rims on your car. You don't have to spend $30,000 on a Harley Davidson motorcycle to impress who? When you don't ride it anyway, and you show it. You don't have that kind of money unless you might have it now, but many people don't have that kind of money, but they do things to act as if they are rich and that they got plenty of money to do these things. We got to stop spending like that. I mean, you spend $40,000 on a car, and then before you get it off the lot good, you go into the rim dealer to put you some Keystone. That's all I remember from the days back in the day. You going to put you some Keystone rims on it. Why would you do that? You already got a brand new set of tires on that car, and now you're going to put some rims on it, which is going to cost you a car note or more, or 2 or 3 car notes. But you want to be balling. You want your ride to represent you and to be looking good when you rolling down the street with you in the car and you can't see nothing. Everybody else can see it, so you want everybody else to see it so they can think that you are rich. A car is a car. And if you don't, you get a car, it should be equipped with everything you need, or you shouldn't be buying it. And you shouldn't have to buy a car and then take it to the shop. You shouldn't have to do that. A wise man can learn from a fool. Listen to what I said. A wise man can learn from a fool. So you want to call me a fool? Go right ahead. Whoever that was earlier that didn't understand the mission. You didn't get the memo. But a fool can't learn from anybody. You can't learn anything if you're a fool. You can't teach a fool nothing. So am I teaching fools, or am I teaching people that want to learn? Am I going through this 1-hour show to talk about people who want to know more about what they can do in life? Or am I going through a show of 1 hour and talking to fools? And by no means don't think I'm trying to call anybody a fool. I'm not. It's all about what you absorb and what you put out. And hopefully you're putting out good information to people. Right now in politics, there's so much going on that we really have disconnected in so many words. We don't like the turmoil. We don't like fighting with people that don't have an end goal in mind. There's no end in mind on any of these decisions being made in Washington, D.C. They're being made for whatever reasons, but they're not being made in our favor. It's so many different things coming down the pipeline that we will have to deal with in the very near future. And the only thing I can say is, if you're not being astutely informed, then you're going to be left out. In 250 years, this is what we've come to as a United States of America. In 250 years, Black people still struggling to establish themselves as a community. This has been the rollback of civil rights, human rights, a rollback of human rights, because it wasn't long ago that you were not viewed as human. You were looked at as property. That's why you were so easily dispatched, because you were not real. And they still want you to participate in this country as a not real person. Now they're going after the Haitians. Can you imagine being here for the last 20 years, 25 years, and now you're being deported back to Haiti? If this is approved, all hell is going to break loose in the Black community, because Black people are Haitians. So you don't know if you're getting a Haitian, or you don't know if you're getting an African American. You don't know if you're getting a Black. But if you're messing with the Haitians, you're messing with the Blacks. If you're messing with the Jamaicans, you're messing with the Blacks. Then you got a president that'll stand up there and say, let's get these people from these shithole countries out of our country, and why not go to places like Scotland and bring in people? All he's saying is, get the Negroes out and get the white folks in. Why would you bring 200,000 people from, what's the name of that country, Ukraine? Then you're going to bring 50 from South Africa claiming that they're suffering. It's a bunch of crap. We have become comfortable with them in control of everything. And we function every single day just like that. Get mad about what's happening out here in this world because it's affecting you and your people. And it's not going to get better. They're going to slowly just manipulate the system and take pieces of it away all day long. And before you know it, you're going to be back out in the field chopping cotton. User 32. Yes, adios. See you later, my friend. That's pretty sad. We got to be committed to neighborhood or community capitalism, not individual capitalism, because most of us are focused on individual wealth, individual growth, individual education, individual status, but we forget about all the other ones. You know, you wonder why you got so many young men out there killing each other in these these cities like Chicago, Los Angeles. All the big cities got the same problem. Lack of black men. You know, why would the government go after the Black Panthers? They went after the Black Panthers because they were providing everything that the government wasn't providing. And the government don't want competition. It's like God don't need no help. That's what they're saying. We don't need no help. We know what we're doing. We got to keep you in a certain position so we can get what we need from you. Because if we allow you not to be in that position, we can't get what we need. So how do we keep you in that position? We come up with another affirmative action program called Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, which caused over 100,000 black men and women to be fired from the federal government. It's sad. We have so many black people craving assimilation. You can assimilate all you want, my brother. They don't want you in their culture. You have so many interracial marriages. Good luck with that. I don't knock it. If you find love in white people, you find love in Mexicans, if you find love in Koreans or Chinese, you go right ahead and find the love of your life and you continue to march. But never forget where you came from. That's where the problem is. You're trying to assimilate too much. You're forgetting who you are. You're thinking that you're one of them now because you married in that culture. You're still the same Negro. You're still the same Negro. Nobody else is responsible for your success or my success. It's an individual thing. You know, when a young boy goes out and commits a crime, he don't need to be saying, I didn't have no daddy. My mama wasn't never home. You know, who gives a damn about that? I'm an individual that grew up pretty much alone, not with, mother working, daddy gone. But I didn't go out and kill people just because of that. It's all about your mentality. What do you want to be? You know, the slums and the city creates these environments that make you think that you have no options. You got options out there. You just have to find those options. The harder it gets for you to be a good person, the easier it becomes for you to go look for being a good person. Stop making excuses for your success. Stop making excuses for your success. If you're 22 years old and thinking life is over, you're a fool. That's why fools can't learn that. Wise men learn from that fool, though. God don't make mistakes. I don't even know what to say about that one. God don't make mistakes. Whose God is that? Oh, let me stop that one. The power of self is where it's at. I'm looking forward to you and everybody else succeeding in life. And every Sunday, I like to come on here and just talk about some things that may or may not benefit you. Hopefully, what I talked about today will. I'm going to leave with this. You walk into restaurants in 2026 and you don't see a single black person in that restaurant working. Walk out. You walk in to a nail shop and you don't see a single black person. Walk out. Working in these places. You walk into a Shell station or a service station and you got somebody standing up there looking at you. Walk out. Same with hotels. You walk in the hair supply store. You got people standing there looking at you. Walk out. Flea markets. Buy from black vendors. Keep black money in black culture, because that's exactly what they're doing. The Chinese keep Chinese money in Chinatown. The Mexicans keep their money in the Mexican restaurants. You don't see Mexicans in black folk restaurants. Maybe in some places. You don't see Chinese, and then I've never seen a Chinese go to a black folk restaurant in life. Have you ever seen a Chinese go to a black person restaurant? No, you haven't. Every now and again, you see white folks in there because white people say they confuse hard anyway. You got Mexican tire shops all over the place. Stop going to these tire shops because they don't give a damn about you. They're going to get what they can while they're there. But if you need them on an emergency situation, you can forget it. They don't give a damn about what your emergency is. They want your money and they want you gone. With politics, with the way America operates today, it is our responsibility to operate ourselves. I thought you did not like what? With the politics the way they are, we got to do something. We got to get better. We got to operate longer. We got to stay ahead of the game, because if we don't, we're not going to end up where we need to be in the next 100 years. Our grandchildren are going to suffer just like we are suffering right now. Some of us have made the millions. Some of us have made the hundreds of thousands. Some of us have made ends meet at the end of the month. But after that, what are you leaving for your children? You don't have a business. Start a business. You can start a business right at home. All you got to do is do it. Do it. Good evening to you and your followers. Shout out from Tampa Bay, Florida. Oh, hear you. I appreciate that, Ronnie. Thank you so much for being on today. We got to do better, my brothers, my sisters, but going back to the beginning of what I said when we first started this conversation, this is a call to action. And it ain't a call to action for you just to do something. You know, we got to stop going to these restaurants. We got to stop going to these nail shops. We got to stop going to these hair stores. We got to stop supporting these TV shows. Are you woke or are you unwoke? Because you're going to have to unsee what you have seen. You got to unsee this stuff because it's so bad. It is so bad. Am I in favor of segregation? I'm in favor of a person residing anywhere they please. But what I'm not in favor of is a Black Wall Street being destroyed or a Lake Lanier flooding a black township. I mean, even Rosewood, I don't know, I know the movie. That's the only place that I know that has ever made amends of burning down a whole community. You guys have done a lot to us, and we have not retaliated. All right. South Petersburg, hear you, my friend. I'm so glad that's a long way from where I am. I'm in San Antonio, Texas. Nice weather out here today. I don't know what's happening over there, but it's great. I'm going to leave you with this. This call to action is for you to ask yourself, why do they hate us so much? And I'm going to answer the question so you don't have to really do too much. They hate us because we are the rightful landowners. Black guys use the back door. Believe it or not, who is that? Dr. Marshall. In Mississippi, in the Mississippi Delta, black men are still using the back door to go into the white folks' house if they work there, or if they're doing some work, if they need to talk to the white man, they go to the back door. They can't go to the front door. They can't. So don't be blinded by what you think society should be. If you really want to know what's happening, you got to get down in the dirt and figure out what why black folks are so untrusting of you, of white people. Let me be clear. You know, this call to action is for us to boycott Chinese restaurants, to boycott nail salons if they ain't black, to boycott hotels. I mean, it's difficult to find a black hotel, but when I say boycott hotels, stay out of these damn bed bug hotels. Go get you a damn Marriott or a Hilton or something like that, or a hotel that's worthy of your presence. For the one thing that I want to see black people do is stay the hell out of hair stores. You don't need hair. You got hair. Why are you buying this nonsense in these stores? And they got every single thing in America or in the world in that one little store. And the worst part about this, I'm telling you now, the worst part about these stores, you look at the front when you walk up. Look at the front of that store. What do you see? You're going to see black, beautiful women posters all over the windows of that store. That's all you're going to see. So you've come a long way. I'm glad to hear that about South Petersburg or St. Petersburg. Or what is that? That's St. Petersburg, right? I'm sure that's right. South St. Petersburg. Learn why for your area. Why are they hating you? Why do they not want you there? You got to learn why. Once you learn why, you've identified the purpose that they have. You got to understand the specific reasons driving them to identify you. And then you want to identify exactly what you want to improve or change for future generations in that area. What do you want to change for future generations in that area? You figure out what you want to change. You develop a response to racism. Use various methods. You got to have the problem-focused action to avoid that kind of stuff and fix it. The last thing you need to do is find a community which you can rise together with. And don't go in that community with extreme racist intentions. None of it should be about racism. It should be about preventing racism and pulling a neighborhood out of the condition they are in. You look at the streets, you're seeing major potholes, problem. You're seeing no fire hydrants, problem. You seeing flooding every time the water it rains? Problem. Those are the things I'm talking about. Fix your neighborhoods that you live in. Everybody living somewhere. Look at your neighborhood. Fix it. Go to work at it. You know, I know most of you are renting. I ain't saying fix the property. I'm saying fix the people. Get the people to work together. To stop spending their money at places that don't support you. Stop spending money at places that don't support you. You got to do that. I want to thank you all for listening to my little talk on Sunday at 5. I will see you next Sunday at 5, bringing the same thing to you. This time it's going to be a little bit different. I think next time we're going to talk about accepting the sins of the government, because the government's got a handful of them, a couple of hands full of them. So we have to go there and identify what it is. Thank you so much, TikTok. Thank you too. This is the People's Network and News Symposium, broadcasting live every Sunday at 5 p.m. I ask you to subscribe to my YouTube channel at BNN247. Visit the webpage and make comments, the War Report, WAR Report. I look forward to hearing from you on TikTok at BNN247.